Hi there, everyone. It is a fresh edition of Weather for Weather Geeks. Welcome to a new work week. It's the edition for Monday evening, September 25th, 2017. Heat, and more heat. What a remarkable stretch of weather we are in the middle of right now. Things are going to change later in the week, but until then, we've got more record-challenging warmth ahead. We hit 89 today, but look at Cleveland. 94 degrees at Hopkins Airport in Cleveland this afternoon. That was a new record. They've been setting records for several consecutive days now in Cleveland. 91 in New Philly, 89 in Pittsburgh. So for all intents and purposes, today was a very hot day, even though we technically were a shade cooler than Sunday. Sunday we did eclipse 90 degrees. And this is 11 straight days of warmer than average temperatures. Just a total pattern flip from the first half of the month to the second half of the month. And now we're running 2.5 degrees warmer than average for the month as a whole. We did hit 91 yesterday, adding to our tally of 90-degree days for the season. We're still below average, and we're going to finish below average. Average is about 8 or 9. We've had 3 so far this year, about half of what we had back in 2016. Challenging records again over the next few days. We challenged today's record of 91 set 10 years ago, but of course we fell a little short. Tomorrow's record is a little bit lower hanging fruit. 89 is the record tomorrow. Our forecast is 90. And then Wednesday's record's even lower at 86, and our forecast is 86. And I wouldn't be surprised if we end up taking Wednesday's forecast up another degree or 2 before all is said and done. So we've got 2 more days like we've had where records will be threatened before the pattern flips. Now, one of the reasons, and probably the main reason why we were just a little cooler today and didn't get up to the record, compared to yesterday, today was 2 degrees cooler, and all it took was a little thin layer of cirrus clouds coming in from the south and east, dimming the sun, dimming the incoming solar radiation just a hair. And these clouds actually is somewhat associated with Maria, which is still out over the open waters, of course, but some of these clouds are getting drawn north, and they made for some nice optical phenomena in the sky today. We had some sun dogs and some 22-degree halos and some cloud iridescence, thanks to those high, thin cirrus clouds made up of ice crystals. Now, we've got a whopper of a front out in the middle of the country. This is the pattern-changing front that eventually is going to head our way in about 48 hours. But right now, it's kind of right in the middle of the country. And it's summer to the east, and it's full-blown fall out to the west. And this even includes some parts of the southwest. I showed a graphic on 21 News at 6 this evening and on social media showing how we were warmer for a while today than Phoenix was. We've been warmer all day than Las Vegas has been. Even places like Palm Springs and Death Valley, by their standards, are actually pretty cool. We've got a whopper of a trough out in the west. All right, speaking of Maria, tropical storm warnings out for the Outer Banks of North Carolina, and tropical storm watches heading up towards the mouth of the Chesapeake Bay around Virginia Beach. And Maria, is not the greatest looking system in the world, but still doesn't look all that bad. Certainly not as healthy as it was several days ago. Category 1, maximum winds 80 miles per hour, gusts maybe close to 100, but the greatest or the strongest winds are well removed from the center right now, so it's struggling a bit. And what we expect is for this to stay offshore. Now, rough surf, rip currents, and some gusty winds for a time, sure, for the Outer Banks. But this is not going to make a landfall in the U.S., and this will weaken into a tropical storm. And then as that big cold front sweeps east and that trough of low pressure aloft accompanying the front sweeps east, this will get a hearty kick and rapidly, and I mean rapidly, start heading east. This thing's been dragging its feet. It's only moving north at 7. But in a couple of days, or a few days, really starting Wednesday and heading into Thursday and Friday, this thing's just going to rocket across the northern Atlantic Ocean and be off the weather map finally. All right. Fall foliage updates every Monday and Thursday at this time of the year. And, I was driving through parts of Trumbull County on Saturday, noticing the colors were a little more vibrant up there as compared to Mahoning County. And, this is a pretty typical map for this time of the year. You get into some better color once you're up into the higher terrain of north central and northwestern PA and up into the southern tier of New York, around Chautauqua, Cattaraugus counties in New York, and then over to the Poconos and the Catskills, and up into the Adirondacks, the Green and White Mountains. Color moving along just fine, getting kind of vibrant up there in New England, also in parts of Michigan into Wisconsin as well. Our peak, as usual, will come in a couple or a few weeks, generally straddling the middle of October. All right, tomorrow, again, a rerun of today, and probably actually fewer cirrus clouds tomorrow. So I think tomorrow will be a little more like yesterday, actually. Pristine blue skies, sunshine, and really hot. But then here comes our front. Now, our in-house model here actually tries to spit up a couple of showers on Wednesday. I'm not buying this. I think this will just be a band of fair weather clouds. I don't have a chance of rain in our forecast for Wednesday. The front pushes east. Wednesday night will turn cooler. You get up Thursday morning and notice, oh, it feels different outside. It'll be in the 50s. That'll be nice. And Thursday overall will be a sharply cooler day. The other big story other than the heat, of course, has been the lack of rain. Going back to August 1st, we've only picked up 44% of our typical rain from August 1st through September 25th. That's at the airport. Of course, some places have had a little bit more or a little bit less. Boy, not much is coming. I think on Friday, with a trough of low pressure moving across the Great Lakes, there can be a couple of showers, maybe even a thunder shower up towards Lake Erie on Friday. But both the European and GFS models, suggest it's not going to be much. A tenth of an inch, maybe if we're lucky, a couple of tenths of an inch. Not enough to really help what is a developing short-term drought across much of Ohio and western Pennsylvania. All right, so our much-advertised cool-down is coming, but notice how brief it is. And, averages are falling so quickly at this time of the year that it's, we've been talking about, oh, this cool-down's coming, it's going to feel like fall and everything, but it's only for a couple of days that we're within shouting distance of average before we start heading back up above average next week. Now, next week, I don't think is going to be as warm or hot, certainly as it has been. But check out the jet stream here. Here's our trough coming in for Friday and the weekend. And then next week, look what happens. Big trough digs into the west and a ridge starts pumping across the middle of the country and the east as well. And, I think we're going to head into a warm stretch of weather for much of the first half of October. Not the first day or two, but overall the first half of October looking pretty warm on all the long-range modeling. So we're not going to see upper 80s to around 90 like we have been, but average days, cooler than average days, are going to be few and far between. So if you're longing for some real crisp autumn chill, this weekend we'll have it, but we're not going to have it again for a while. The growing season will continue probably long past the average end of the growing season, because while we might dip down to 39 or 40 in a few spots at night over the weekend, I don't see any dangers of hard freezes anytime in early October. Thanks for checking in with Weather for Weather Geeks tonight. I'll see all you geeks back here tomorrow evening. Updated 7-day forecast and everything else you need to know coming up tonight on 21 News at 11.